17 July 2020, and today I want to give you another update on the accident, the head-on collision that involved Apostle Talent Chiwenga near Norton. So this morning, Jelousy Mawarire has come out and he has issued a 25 set of tweets. So he issued a thread of 25 tweets in which he confirmed that 3 people died at the scene of the accident and they were his relatives. However, he also denied that the intention of the people who died at the accident scene was to kill Apostle Talent Chiwenga. So he said, indeed, they were driving on the wrong side of the road, and the reason for that is because the road changes from a single carriageway to a dual carriageway, and they went into the wrong side of the road because there was no road markings. So that is the explanation that he gave. He also blamed the Church of Apostle Talent Chiwenga for trying to play the role of VID, police and accident investigators. And he says Apostle Talent Chiwenga has not contacted his family, and they knew who was in that car because the police made a report. So I want to take you through those tweets very, very quickly, and I want to ask you to go to gambagwe.com if you want to read the actual tweets. So the first tweet says, "We note with concern attempt by Talent Chiwenga's church to assume the duty of police, VID and even the courts to preside over a matter that surely should be before the courts, since the accident claimed 3 lives. While we were not experts in analyzing accidents, we note in the church statement a deliberate omission of a huge contribution to the head-on collision, which is the absence of clear markings at the Norton toll gate of the transition from a single carriageway to a dual carriageway. No attempt was made in the interest of fairness and safety of other road users today to explain that while the Bulawayo-Harare Road dualization is starting at the Norton toll gate, the toll gate covers only the old section. Hence, when traveling from BYO, the road is a single carriageway. Meaning, when one is driving from BYO, you get into the toll gate on a single carriageway, but exit toll gate already in the dual carriageway. Meaning, automatically, the lane you were traveling in from Bulawayo becomes a wrong lane just at the toll gate exit. There are no carriageway markings to indicate this transition. There is no barricade to avoid traffic from Bulawayo proceeding through a wrong lane. This is information the Norton Traffic Police gave to the family members of those who were involved in the accident, and I'm sure the church got that information as well. This info wasn't given just to explain how the accident happened, but also to warn us when traveling to the scene to avoid a similar collision. When we went to the scene around 10 p.m., the police insisted we drove to the extreme left to avoid the fate that befell our relatives. As a family, through a relative in the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Transport, we raised a complaint to the Minister of Transport on the lack of clear transition markings at the toll gate. While this would not help our already deceased relatives, it will help the motoring public. 8. In the presence of such information, we wonder why the church, a supposedly religious and charitable organization, deliberately or otherwise, doesn't inform the public of that info, which even the Norton Traffic Police is complaining about. As a family, we also believe the church should have contacted us as a bereaved family, if not to convey their condolences, but to inform us of allegations they are now laying against our deceased relatives. My brother, who was driving the white car, had his driver's license on him and a phone police used to contact us. Also posted here that the person involved in the accident was my brother, and if the church is making allegations against him, it is really fair that they contact us since he's no longer alive to answer to their allegations. 11. It is quite unfair to suggest that an educationist owner of Prestige Secondary and Primary Schools in Bulawayo, his wife and Harare lawyer, Mr. Makopa, who also perished in the accident, were on a suicidal mission to harm Chiwenga and kill themselves in the process. 12. Such allegations are not only callous, but do not even raise the level of nonsense. As a family, we have also registered disquiet as to why a driver involved in a fatal accident was immediately extracted from the accident by non-medical staff before police attended the scene. 13. My brother, his wife, and Mr. Makopa were taken alive to Norton Hospital, and Mr. Makopa, who was then transferred to Harare, where he unfortunately passed away on early Tuesday, while my brother and his wife unfortunately succumbed to his injuries while being attended to at Norton Hospital. 14. While we are not legal experts, we are just surprised why the driver of the other car was whisked away from the accident scene by a well-wisher, and also question the legality of such an act. Ordinarily, that wouldn't have concerned us, but it matters when same driver, on the night of the accident, was in a state of mind to begin circulating information alleging our relatives who passed on the accident involved in the car he was driving were state security agents after his life. We are also interested, as he is, to know the identity of the car and driver he alleged was chasing him from Kuwadzana roundabout, because that detail has effect on the way he was driving and consequently the head-on collision and failure by the two drivers to avoid an imminent collision. We are also interested to know why he didn't drive either to Kuwadzana or Norton police stations to alert that he was being trailed. We are of the opinion such a measure would have helped him avoid collision with our relatives, and maybe our relatives could have been alive. Maybe our relative could have met other responsible drivers to alert him he was on the wrong lane. While it wouldn't have helped us or our deceased relatives, we also believe, as part of Ubuntu, the driver of the car involved in the accident with our deceased relatives should have contacted us, since we understand he's alive. We had to know who he was through his social media rants. 19. And the piece of paper we found around the wreckage, which I attach here, we thought it was in his interests, as is in ours, to know the parties involved in the accident before his rantings on social media. A young lawyer's life was lost in the accidents. Prestige group of schools lost to feed into the paranoia. So I don't know, maybe there's a bit of a break here in these tweets. So let's go to number 21. To feed into their paranoia and conspiracy theories, my brother and his wife were traveling for the burial of our sister on Tuesday morning when they met their death. Monday evening, and as a family, we ended up with 3 bodies to bury. That alone took a huge toll on us emotionally. 22. The least we expect from a party to the accident was to act responsibly after contacting our family. But since we are different beings with different aspects, temperaments, psychological and mental states, we have no choice but to live with extremities and absurdities live through us. While we don't want to be conspiracy theorists like Chiwenga and his church, we are naturally bound to ask why Talent Chiwenga is always involved in fatal road accidents where 3 people die. Last year it was his wife, Mai Vurumuku, and a church member. This year it's my brother, his wife, and Harare lawyer. In normal jurisdictions, the mental state, driving competence, and psychological disposition of a common denominator in such fatal accidents is investigated. We can't have a single being competing with COVID-19 in killing people through road traffic accidents. Now, this is the 25th tweet. Competent drivers are trained, no matter the circumstances, to avoid an imminent collision, let alone head-on collisions. Hence, the 2 drivers should have at least tried to avoid the accident happening. No amount of social media ranting will absolve the 2 drivers of some culpability. Right, so this is the 25 tweets, and it's clear. There's no need to explain what Jelousy Mawarire is saying here. 3 members or relatives of his family passed away at the scene of that head-on collision, and he's saying Talent Chiwenga is making false allegations about the reason why they were in that side of the road. So we can confirm that indeed Apostle Talent Chiwenga was traveling on a dual carriageway and he collided head-on with another car, and the people who were in that car died. But Mawere here is explaining that the car was not there to kill him. It was just that they went into the wrong side of the road. I also want to end by concluding and explaining that I have personally, for a short time, worked with Jelousy Mawarire when he was working for National People's Party. We did a bit of work together, communication work for Mamjuru. So I know Jelousy myself, and obviously people have speculated that he's a CIO or not, which he denied last week to say that he's not a member of the CIO. So obviously there's going to be a lot of speculations around this case, and I hope that he'll be able to come out and speak about this after he gets back from obviously burying his family members. But it's very sad that this happened, and I also hope that Apostle Talent Chiwenga will come out and speak about it. So this is the update I had for you today. Thank you very much for watching. If you're watching this on WhatsApp, send it to as many people as possible. If you're watching this on YouTube and Facebook, please like, comment, and share.